get to tying today. We need mayflies. We have a guest coming fishing this week, next week, early next week. I'm not going to have time to tie. So we'll need some mayflies for some trout fishing and maybe a few jig streamers as well. I imagine that's what's going to be working. I'm going to head out tomorrow and I'll fish this little diver, and might even throw around this cray pattern we tied. So that's my plan, but I need to tie some flies for the guest that's coming next week. It's something emergery too. It would be good. Maybe we'll start with that kind of emerging mayfly. Doesn't have to be too dainty. I think this is a 12. So we'll start with this. Depending on how this turns out, we might do a couple of those. I'm thinking quill body, hair wing. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe biot, a little biot body, hair wing. Could be good. Let's do a tail. We'll do the CDL for the tail. Actually, let's make it a softer tail. Here's some partridge. Nice color. I'll clip a little bit of that off and use that for the tail. Long or short? I usually go a little bit shorter for the emerger tails. Sometimes no tail at all. And then tie on the side, the material rolls over, which is nice. Let's give that a clipper. Let's also adjust let's make sure our angle is good. Yeah, there we go. Biot. Little biot. Got orange on my desk. We got, this is a good color. These are pretty short though. We'll take this one. And then pulling it down, that little bit of stem doesn't help with the tie, but it will help with the wrap. Gives you a little bit extra to hold on to. So kind of pulling them off rather than cutting them is a good tip. And tie that in tip first. You don't have to worry about the taper. The biot has a natural taper. But you do have to worry about durability. And since these are not for me, I'm gonna do a little drop of super glue there. And we'll wrap the biot over it. And it'll help it be a little bit more durable. The buyout also gives nice segmentation. It's got little ridges. One more wrap should do it. And you don't need to tie it adjoining. There could be some gaps where the thread is exposed. Sometimes that looks nice. And then we'll do a forward-facing hair or poly wing, and then we'll wrap a dry fly hackle. So let's do forward-facing wing. This is a nice hair for the wing. Pretty fine hair. The wing, it doesn't have to be super buoyant. The hackle will help with the spread that surface area. So the wing needs to just look the part. And let's clean it up. Get rid of those shorts. And then we'll stack it just a bit. Oh, we lost some of it. There we go. This is a good skill, like transferring material from one hand to another. Place, transfer, when you're dealing with little hairs and things like that. It's a good skill to have. I want to tie the wing pretty close to the eye. And I'm going to tie it down nice and tight so it flares. And then a little landing area for the hackle. You could trim the butts to leave a kind of wing case, or you can try to cut them flush. That was not a very good cut. I was going for the angled look. Take them down pretty close. Then we'll do a few wraps in front. And we'll go back behind. You could do a little spotted dubbing if you wanted to, but I'm not gonna. I'll just go right in with a grizzly hackle. This one's already pre-trimmed, ready to go. I'm gonna try to finish that hackle toward the eye, so I'll advance my thread. Let's not trap any of that hair. One wrap, we trapped the hair. No, our wrap is not good. One wrap, two wraps, three wraps, bringing it under, and then the thread over, lock it in. trim it out. This is an emerger style, but frankly, bit of a dry fly. But it's good to have a few different profiles in your box. But I think most people are putting flow tint on this one. There's a lot of patterns. I guess cripple, not an emerger. Cripple, they call it a cripple. Crippled mayfly. Which is an emerger. I don't know. Maybe, oh, someone said do like a parachute Adams or something. Hello, Julio. I see you said hi. Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, we could do a parachute. Yeah, why not? We'll do a parachute right now. I don't fish them, but other people love them. I'm just checking I've got some discards in here. One of the most popular parachute patterns is called a Clink hammer. So we'll do kind of a variation of the Clink hammer. And I'll use some, I don't think this is the right thread. Let's do a darker, thinner thread for our Clink. And for this style, I like to do a moose hair body. But you could dub it. You definitely could dub it. No tail. And then slightly oversize the hackle. I would. Not heavily hackled, but kind of spreading it so it kind of gets a little bit more surface area. Is the Clink hammer an emerger? I don't know. This is moose mane, which is a little bit thicker, a little bit more hollow. You could even do like a stem. Maybe we do that. Maybe we do this CDC stem. Let's try to clean this CDC stem up. It's also a good color. And it's got some barbs left on it. And that'll give the body a little texture. Maybe that'll look good. You could get even crazier and try to use that tip as a wing, but we're not gonna do that. We don't want it, we want the thicker part of the stem. We don't want it too thin. So that's gotta go. And then we'll tie about up to there. this is interesting. You try to play the, oh, it's, the stem is splitting on me. We're gonna have to abandon. That's why you gotta soak your stems. Abandon ship. Let's go back to the ridge. The hair. Get a couple hairs. Having a lighter hair paired with the darker hair is actually kind of nice. So we got one light colored hair and a few darker hairs. There's some shorts in there, so I'm gonna pull those shorties out. And then I'm gonna take the very tips off. And go ahead, tie those in. We got 4 hairs total. Get that curve accentuated. Drop a little bit of glue on there. Wrap the body. And if we do this well, we'll have a light rib coming out toward, yeah, it's starting to show. No, we're not doing it right. The lighter hair is getting covered, but we can't. Oh, there's the one strip. We can't go back. Okay. Parachute post. We'll use a poly yarn. I don't like white posts, but the first thing I found was white yarn. So we're gonna do it. I'm gonna double up, so I don't need a ton. It's gonna get doubled back on itself. Do like that, but I do want to make sure the fibers can separate. Oh, we can tie the ant, the polypropylene ant, balloon ant thing. We could do that today too. So I'm just making sure those can separate. And then I'm gonna, you could wrap the material around the thread like this if you want. Oh. And then kind of just sit it on top. Or just tie it in regular way. Doesn't matter. What does matter though is you go around the base of this. And you can even reposition the hook in the vise. But we'll come back to that. in a minute. That's enough. Then we'll come down. You need some material to finish off the thorax. Simple, easy way would just be dubbing. Fancier way would be like peacock herl, where it'd be simple. We'll just do dubbing. This is a gray rabbit. Which is fine for what we're doing. This takes some thinking out. We want to dub it, but we want to finish on the post. So you want to work, you want to work from the eye and then wrap back down and then down. But now you're finished right at the post, which is what we want. Let's reposition. It doesn't have to be completely horizontal. Let's make sure we're repositioned. Okay. Now we want to work our thread up the post. Serious clink hammer guys go way up the post, but I don't go way up the post. I think that's about good. And those wraps have to be tight. Let me go back. Oh, I lost it. I should have done more of this before we did the dubbing. But just creating like a platform on that post. It's got to be tight, can't be loose, because your hackle's gonna get tied in on the post. There we go. Now let's get our hackle. Let's measure this hackle to make sure it's appropriate. It looks okay. The color's fine. Tying in the hackle. So if we tie it in this way, we can do that, but we're gonna wrap up and then we'll have to wrap back down. Ideally, you tie it in this way and then you're just wrapping back down. Ideally. Sometimes it doesn't go like that. Let's tie in our hackle. That's 3 wraps. That's 4 wraps. Let's get one more wrap on there. 5 wraps, and let's go back down the post. Make it tight. Now we'll wrap our hackle, holding our post. Not wrapping over the other wraps. That's 2 wraps. That's 3 wraps. And 4. No more. And now we'll trap the position. Carefully clip out the hackle. And whip finish. Our wraps weren't great. Not the cleanest. When you're whip finishing, you don't want to trap any of the hackle fibers, so you kind of gotta work around them, dance around them a bit. That's 3 turns. Cinch it down. Oh, this side is ugly. That doesn't matter. Cut out your thread. Get your strays. And trim your post. You could do an angled cut, a straight across cut. Let's get fancy and do a kind of an angled cut, see what it looks like. And that is kind of a clink hammer concept, which will fish well this time of the year. Yeah, bottom profile looks good. The rest of it's a little bit suspect. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. What to do next? My tried and true CDC May. Or should we do that? If we do we could do the balloon. We could do the balloon beetle, but that'd be for this summer. I'm just thinking through the steps to tie that one. Yeah, okay, let's do the balloon beetle. Let's get our thread started. Polypropylene. This is a different material than this. This is specifically a wing material. This is, I don't know what kind. This is just a rug material. I'm gonna pull out a lot. And then I'll work it back over. We're creating an extended body. And then maybe even, no, that'll be enough. And then let's pick it out. And other side, pick it out. And now we want to do a slip knot of monofilament. There's a mono. You don't need much. How do you tie a slip knot? I think you go overhand and then so that's one side, and then around and through. Hopefully that's a slip. I'm gonna pass the yarn through our slip knot. Might have to manipulate the ends to the halfway point. And I'm gonna tighten down our knot so we have like a bow tie. I'm gonna check each side of the mono to make sure it's, yeah, that's not going anywhere. Hopefully this doesn't come undone. Let's clip off our tags. And this is our abdomen section. Let's pick once again. So it looks nice and full. And then we'll tie. Tie it in about here. You want the polypropylene to go all the way around the hook. I don't know what I just did there. Not like sitting just on top, you want it to work all the way around. Give it like a three-dimensional. Look. Let's check, yeah, that looks good. You could do like an ant thing. I'm gonna leave this for now. Maybe we can get a little thorax going, or yeah, head section. And then you could do little bits of crystal flash off, or leg, like a leg concept. Let me think. I think just a hackle is enough. Here's a black hackle. Tie that in. Let's work the yarn down just a touch more. And then we'll wrap our hackle in that middle section. 3 turns, 4 turns. Yarn's getting everywhere. Let's tie off. Nice tension. Trim out the hackle, one more wrap. Now I'm gonna travel the thread up, and we're gonna try to make another little balloon if we can, or we could work it back, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it. Does that look okay? No, that looks stupid. That was real dumb. We're gonna have to sell it. In order to sell it, I gotta get it more manageable. So let's see how that looks. That also looks pretty dumb. Maybe we fold it back over. No, that's not it. Hello, Carlos. I'm twisting it. And now I'm trapping it. That's not it. Okay, I think I got it. So twist, push, wrap. Looks good on the top, but not on the bottom. Let's try one more time. Twist a little bit, push a little bit, push a little bit, wrap. That's the best we've done so far, and we're gonna just leave it. Let's trim that out. Looks a little bit incomplete. We're gonna need to go back and rethink this one. This is supposed to be like a beetle, but it looks more like an ant. But a really juicy ant. I don't know about that. We gotta work on that. All right. Now let's get serious. Let's get serious. I should have used an extended body hook. I had too much shank. If I just wrapped the hackle and without that second bump, it would have looked better. some 16s. I'm thinking 14s. And let's get our thread started. Alaskan. We love Alaska. How's the weather in Alaska? This material is called CDL, Coq de Leon. It's a chicken, and it's got fancy feathers. We're just gonna do 3. Nice and sunny, very nice. You doing any fishing? A little bit longer. Let's clip. And then we're just gonna dub it. Where's the dubbing? I have that already. For verification. I don't know what that means. Well, I'm sorry. It sounds like the fishing trip didn't go well. Too bad. Dubbing rope. Nice and tight. Let's dub the body, travel the thread back to the tail, and then start working up. Working up. A little taper is good, but if you can't get it, it's okay. Custom jigs for northern pikes. Yep, the old northern pikes. A wing, we need a wing. I like to use the Callibatus colored feather for the wing. Here's a tip. It's more of a yellow than an olive. And then we'll just tie in the wing. Like that. 2 tips would be good, but we just have the one. And it'll be fine. I'm pulling it a little bit more so it's together just a little bit more. And then let's get brown, natural rather, for the hackle. Good natural feather for the hackle. That's a good one. We just need one side. Clip and trim. I'm gonna clip high and trim low. So the butts will play and then the tips will play. The wings a little sparse. So we're gonna need a little bit extra. Split your thread, insert, and spin. I'm gonna preen one direction, then wrapping behind the wing first, and now wrapping in front. And let's let the thread unravel. While the thread is unraveling, we'll clean up our legs just a touch. This one was not the prettiest, but it'll do. Okay. Let's knock out a couple more of these because I actually do need them. The other ones I don't need. I'd give them to you. You can have them if you come pick them up. Oh, we were supposed to tie a jig streamer too. One more and then a jig streamer. CDL. Where's my feather? Measure the tail. It's a little bit heavy. They're kind section through this one. Travel the thread back. Start wrapping the body. Yeah, we have too much. Okay, wing feather. Look in our, we have this butt. This is a butt. So we'll use this butt for our wing feather. You might be skeptical, but usually it works. I'm going to throw a wrap around the stem of that, just to try to gather it a little bit more. That's good. We have to do 2 cuts. I guess I could do them now. So angled up and then slide down. And that's a wing. No, maybe it was slide up and angle down. I always forget. Let's clip and trim here. Yeah, why am I using that one? I want the one I just used. Trim off the stems. This goes into the wing pile. Split the thread. Insert. Spin. Preen a little bit. And wrap. And do a couple in front. And let the thread unravel. Good. I need about 6 more of these, but we're not gonna do them today. That's our little mayfly. Jig time. Jiggy jig time. What kind of jig we tying today? Yeah, this hook's bigger, so we'll do this one. 4 mil bead. Have a bead I set my sights on. Just trying to get it out. Yeah. And we'll do this craft fur. We haven't tied with craft fur in a while. Craft fur is just like a synthetic hobby store material. Well, that's what we'll use for today. Thread, pink. Pink is a good one. Pink is a good one. Is that bead sitting right? Let me double check this. Yeah. So bump behind the bead just so it remains stationary. Haven't tied with craft fur in a while. So let me think about this. I've got yellow, I've got hot pink, light pink, blue, natural, like a brown. I'm thinking the yellow. Craft fur has a nice taper, so when you bring the materials together, you see how it comes to a point that's good. So you definitely want to leverage that. The length of the material is good. However, the material is very breakable. So I'm thinking most of the fly is gonna be like, so you could tie in a tail section and then a body section, a head section, but I think most of it should be head. Yeah, most of it should be head. All of it will be head. Let's find our good pieces. Clip it off the rug. And then with the craft fur as well, there is under fur, but it's not natural. So you gotta clean that out as well. I'm rolling it in my fingers just to see the length and where everything's ending. This is a jig, so it's gonna sit this way. I'm thinking a little bit of yellow on top and then the pale pink on the bottom. That's what I'm thinking. Before we do that though, actually no, that's what I'm thinking. So wait, yellow on top. Pale pink on the bottom. And you probably can see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna bring the top and the bottom, I'm just gonna bring them together and then use a glue to secure the body of the fly. And then a little bit of ice to finish the head. Let's get a good distribution. The pink looks better than the yellow. I'm gonna pinch, gently bringing everything down around the hook point. And then I'm going to advance my thread. There we go. Got some shorts. We'll have to deal with those later. We had a lot of leftover. So we trimmed out one of the we had this bait fish emulator that we trimmed out, but it's a little bit dark. I'd like to use it, but it's a little bit dark. How about, this is the perfect color. And this is just, I don't know what this is actually. This is a blend of some sort. And I'm veiling it. So I'm teasing it so it's nice and loose. And then I'm gonna just set it on the bead, over the bead. I'm gonna tie it in. We're gonna lose a lot of it, but the distribution will be nice. And it will integrate into after we pick it out, it'll integrate into the body of the fly, which we want because we don't have any flash. So let's check our distribution. The alternative would be like a bunch and a bunch. You could do that as well. And then I'm gonna preen and advance. And then we'll tie off there. Christian Kuval says hi. Hello, Christian. Did you catch some northern pikes? This is more of a smelt, like even a still water. Maybe you could fish this in a river, but it certainly won't have any action on a retrieve. So this would be like a drift, if you wanted to drift a streamer, you could drift this. Okay. I will bring everything around. Ooh, we got a bald spot on this side. That's okay. Actually, I don't like the bald spot, so we're gonna cover the bald spot. Restart the thread. Oh, I know why it was bald. The thread kind of sunk in. It moved the material around. This is gonna get super glued, so I'm not really worried about the thread hold, like binding everything that is gonna get glued. But the more you can kind of tease everything out, the better the end result. I think I've said that 1,000 times. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Okay. Eyeballs. See if we got some good eyes. Yeah, this is an Easter fly. Easter bunny fly. So we'll put some Easter bunny eyes on it. These are a little bit oversized. I'm gonna find that zone. My goal is to place the eye right where the thread bump is, not onto the bead itself, which can be a little bit tricky sometimes, and then more toward the bottom so we don't jack up the hook gap. That looks good. Hopefully we can repeat. This needs to be cleaned up. This one's a little bit too far back, but it'll do. Clean this bottom up a bit, and then we'll do a little drop ski. I don't don't think the top needs a drop ski. And done. Easter bunny fly. I don't know how well that's looking. With that glue still wet, I'm gonna have to be real careful. Yeah, we'll stick it in the foam, let it dry. All right. So, what we tied today. A productive day. But we got our 2 mayflies, olive mayflies, which are winners. We got our Clink hammer, which not my favorite, but we did it because someone asked for a parachute. And then we have a cripple, which the old heads, some of the OGs fish this one. So I know they work, but I'd probably go for a CDC mayfly. And then we had our ugly beetle attempt, and our Easter bunny craft fur jig, which will catch something. I just don't know what. All right. Thanks for watching.